Let me at him!
Well, there it is. Hello and welcome to a Play Free for All Cup, where we're starting on Blasted Lands with game 1.1. There's currently a lot of games being played right now. I think there's up to about 64 people in this tournament, and obviously the winner gets himself $250. Nice. Not bad, eh, for a little tournament? All you got to do is win multiple free-for-alls and make your way to be the best of the best. That's not easy, to be quite frank. So, here we go. I'm going to be observing this game, and in this game we have a Dota, Fail Fort, and whoever this fella is, because I can't currently see and I'm not able to look at allies to get the vision. Chat might give me the way. Ooh, looks like it's John Irenicus. So, I'm not sure what the pause is about, but Ponty's left the game. He was the only one observing otherwise. So these are all players as far as I know. I've not done one of these before, and I haven't got the camera because I'm commentating basically. So in cases where I'm commentating, I won't be using the camera. And I'm going to be quite relaxed with my commentary. And we'll see how we go, because I'm going to need to save my voice, I think. Because like I say, there's going to be quite a lot of games being played. Which means that by the time I get to the end of this, which this is scheduled to be all played in one day, I'll probably have no voice left. So I'd like to have a voice left for the finals. So we're starting off in the, I don't know what you would call these, just the starting rounds, I suppose, since this isn't quarterfinals or semi-finals or anything like that. I can bring up the links in a moment actually and have a little check. But first of all, let's have a look at the players once more. Dota, playing as the Orange Undead. Looks like he's starting off with Crypt Fiend build. Green Boy, bringing out the Blade Master, standard Orc, throwing down a Peon to scout. At the bottom right we have John, who's playing Human, and rolling out with the Archmage into Footman. And Failfort, the other Human player, slightly later Altar of Kings. Potential here for a neutral hero, or perhaps his build doesn't require his hero to be out too early on and he's focused on getting his economy up before taking an expansion. So we've got the two scouts coming in from the right hand side of the map from John and Green Boy, so they're going to see what's going down. The left hand side guys, they don't know. Oh, John, your militia's just about to run out as this Footman or two spots you. He'll probably find his way to the next one. Now the way free-for-alls tend to be played is they are quite political, so in some senses, even though it might give you some experience, you don't always want to go and kill someone or pick off a unit or two from them, because then that kind of starts off a little grudge. And I'm one of these people that would be holding that grudge, because I'd be like, yeah, you killed my militia. All I wanted to do was scout with him. And you killed him, so now I'm going to focus you for the rest of the game. So I can understand why some players might not necessarily try to pick off other people's starting scouting units, because they don't really want to get on the bad side of one another, at least not so early on in the game. So clause of attack for John, a Human player here, clearing up an expansion. Has he got the resources to take it on? Not yet. And Green Boy getting slippers of agility at a nearby green camp for his Blade Master. Does look like Failfort's taking a different approach here with Militia. He went for Archmage after all, not a Tavern hero, and he's going to go starting off with a Mercenary camp. Is he going to pick up the Centaur Outrunner? It's not a bad little fella, to be honest, for his cash. I'd say he's reasonable enough, not particularly amazing, but still could be some very good items from here. We'll look back at that in a moment. Dota, just clearing out his expansion nearby with the Death Knight and the Fiends. Ah, he has picked up the Centaur Outrunner. He's pretty reasonable, he's very fast as well. What item did he pick up? Hellstone. That's very good actually for a free-for-all game. Very good indeed, particularly for a Mountain King or such like that that's going to be reliably taking damage throughout. You can obviously take this to get 500 health, or you can just keep it on and increase your health regeneration by 1 hit point per second. Very nice indeed. How are we enjoying this calm version of Witty? Trying to be calm as best as possible. So if I didn't make it clear earlier, I am streaming currently at a 10-minute delay as part of the rules. So I don't want to upset anyone, and it's important that no one stream snipes, because we all know how annoying that is. Probably about as annoying as a Blade Master killing your peasants whilst they're trying to build an expansion, I imagine. Yes, quite apt indeed. Boost of speed for Green Boy's Blade Master. So he sold the Slippers of Agility? Interesting move there, since Slippers of Agility is very good for a Blade Master early on in the game and even throughout the mid-game, and I don't see him picking up any items, so that's an interesting choice. He's definitely had a lot of success with this harass though. He's going to lose one grunt, but he's going to severely damage John there. That was a nice try with the Blade Master. Luckily for him, he's got another wind walk in him, because otherwise he would have actually trapped himself and been in a lot of trouble there. That's a nice little trick. If you do get surrounded, you can send your Blade Master in to basically critical strike, wind walk, hit one of the units that are surrounding your grunt, and it will pop the grunt out because, well, it has to fit somewhere, and the game just places him outside of the surrounding position because the Blade Master takes that up instead. Fail 4 doing what I would be doing, picking up a Shredder ASAP, so he's getting him very early on in the game, and you're going to want that because the value of the Shredder is crazy. The Tome of Strength has been spotted, well done, because it is slightly stealthy, that Tome. So we've got Dota up the top here, clearing up, making his way towards level 3, but slightly shy of it. It does look like John has been pissed off. He's got a level 3 Archmage, so these are level 2 Water Elementals. So this is the danger you have, is if you do upset one of your opponents, then you are pretty much going to be expecting to get attacked by them quite often. So these two are going to have a little stalemate fight, and I don't think it's going to be very advantageous for either of them, since neither can really particularly take out the other player so early on in the game, whilst the other players are going to be soaking up the nearby creeping spots because they haven't got the threat or the grudge between one another. So this is the issue, is you don't really want to be in a position where you're actually having a grudge versus someone. You just want to almost let it go and hold back and carry on creeping, because you don't want others to get all the good stuff, because from the creeps spawn the goodies, the tomes, and obviously the items. So you've got that to bear in mind. And what item are we going to get from a level 7 Razormane Chieftain? Something badass, I assume. No doubt about it. Here we go. Anchor of Reincarnation, another amazing item for a free-for-all, particularly on a late-game hero, who is very powerful and will be even more powerful when he comes back to life, such as the Tauren Chieftain with Reincarnation. My goodness, that is a beast indeed. So, Shadowhunter's out now. That's going to make it a bit easier for Green Boy to fend off this little harass. Good for him. John is enjoying his expansion, so he's got that rolling out for him. Even if he is getting a little bit battered in his attack over here, he's still benefiting from the expansion. Meanwhile, Green Boy is taken up to tier 3 and isn't going to be staying at the tier 2 mark for very long, so that's interesting. Maybe moving up towards tier 3 so he can get the tiny Great Hall from the Voodoo Lounge and then basically get a fast expand. He could put a peon down to expand there, but he could probably get a fortress and then tiny Great Hall it almost just as fast. Fail 4 looks like he wants to pick up a Razormane. Yep, Medicine Man. He provides Healing Ward and Spirit Boars. These are very useful spells indeed, and with the Brilliance Aura of the Archmage, he's going to be able to cast them much more often than normal. There's still quite this little battle between Green Boy and John. Level 3 on the Blade Master now is pretty nasty indeed. That means level 2 Wind Walk, he's getting Claws of Attack, and just kiting here with the Shadow Hunter, not in too much trouble. He's got a couple of hexes left if he needs to use them, but he has aggroed a nearby Bronze Drake camp, which is particularly pissed. John having to teleport out here, suspecting that he will get hexed at any moment, and the Blade Master would no doubt pick off the Archmage before he manages to teleport out. Fail 4, now using the Medicine Man's Healing Ward to help him creep this. Got a Mountain King to go with him. We can see that Dota's taken his expansion. Fail 4 has an expansion. John has an expansion. And Green Boy has yet to take his. But like I say, he might do it once he hits the tier 3 point with the tiny Great Hall. Providing he doesn't have to spend his resources continually defending himself versus John, the human player at the bottom right. Okay. Nice creeping going on here. What's going to be coming from the Medicine Man? Oh, just a tome. There must be more from that, surely. Otherwise, that's a little disappointing. Orb of Darkness is an interesting item indeed, as long as the Death Knight's getting the last hit. or around the last hit with the Orb of Darkness, which you can see it applies the black arrow effect, so essentially it's the Dark Ranger. So that's a very nice orb to have there to boost up your army. Not sure how powerful it will be later on in the game, but it's good for creeping early on. Green Boy now doing some more harassing, pushing his luck versus John, seeing what he can get out of this, but like I say, you probably want to start cracking on with creeping before you get too heavily invested in a little war between your nearest opponent. Does look like Fail Fort's really spreading out here. Interesting building placement as well. So as long as he doesn't have to deal with a bunch of raiders running in there, he should be quite okay, I imagine. It is a very large map, this, because it's free for all, and you have a very large base as a consequence. That Bronze Drake does not look like it wants to die very early on. But the Water Elementals should be enough to take it on. Archmage will get another Water Elemental eventually, and then that should be enough to take on the Bronze Drake. Yes, indeed. There are plenty of Water Elementals to take this guy on. Dota's going to take this creep camp out a little bit easier with the Fiends and the web. Oh, lovely item, Sobi Mask indeed. So let's have a look at John right now, who's sporting Cause of Attack, Circlet of Nobility, Bolts of Speed on level 3 Archmage, and he's got Book of Dead on his level 1 Mountain King. Green Boy, forever looking out for a fight, and he's about to get one in a second. Is he going to focus the Sorceress? No, he's going straight for the Archmage here. There'll be a Hex in a moment after a couple of ensnares, forcing John right away to teleport once more. Although this is not too terrible for John. Don't get me wrong, that's not ideal, but at least he managed to clear the creep camp and not lose his hero, so he can return back to base and do what he needs to do. Fail Fort, using the Staff of Sanctuary, must have reached his tier 3 points, as he's got 3 heroes at this moment. Paladin as his 3rd hero, Hellstone on the Archmage, Staff of Sanctuary. Oh my goodness, these are very nice items for Fail Fort. Staff of Silence and Sobi Mask. Staff of Silence is really an end game item, I would say. Very, very, very powerful indeed, because it's essentially like having a Dark Ranger without needing that hero to be able to cast the abilities. You can have a Paladin instead to heal and support, whilst having the Dark Ranger's main ability, Silence. The main useful ability, at least, in free-for-all games. Staff of Scroll of Resurrection, my apologies. Brings 6 of your nearby units back to life. It's good if you got Knights, not so good if you got Griffins, because it doesn't work on air. Now, Dota, what are you up to, my boy? Are you getting ready for this? Looks like he's getting ready for this, and he's going in. We can see a gank going off on the Priest there. He looked pretty ready to take this on, but his Death Knight is in a bit of a pickle there, taking a large heap of damage there from the Mountain King and the Paladin combo. He's going to have to pull back, because if he eats another Stormbolt, he's in a lot of trouble. Yes, he is. He's got the rank, he's got the Ankh, but was it really worth it? I'm not sure. Fail Fort looks like he's prepared to deal with Dota, and he's going to be punishing his Fiends, maybe back onto the the Death Knight, if there is another Stormbolt, which there definitely is. So more Paladin Mountain King combos, even coming in here with the Clap, so no usage of Bash. Interesting choice there. So Dota backing off there, didn't actually lose all that much. Meanwhile, over on the right hand side, Green Boy's really in trouble now, because he's pissed off John Arenicus probably just a little bit too much, and is now having to deal with this tier 2 human push. So it's a horrible thing to deal with. I've dealt with it many a time, and it doesn't often go well for me, but yeah, they bring lots of militia, lots of peasants, and then cheeky enough to actually take an expansion because of the way this map is laid out. By the time those militia have that fight, they're actually in a position where they can actually take the expansion for their own. So this is actually very advantageous to be a human in this position on this particular map. Green Boy just about surviving with his Blade Master, but he's not really got much else to take this army on. So he's left the game. So John's going to be able to take this up. So this is a big victory for John. So whilst they were having their own little battle early on, it slowed them down, but at the same time, it's worked out in his favour, because now he's already starting to take over his opponent's base and soak up that experience, and he doesn't have to worry about that nearby threat. Fail Fort is now thinking about doing the same, because the last thing you want to be is the guy at the bottom left, where you have an opponent to the right of you and an opponent above you as well. You kind of want to deal with your opponent as well. So it's a 4-player, these are 4-player free-for-alls. You want to clear out your guy and have your opponent clear out their guy, and then it becomes a 1 versus 1 situation, and you want to deal with the map, the environment, the creeps that are left, any experience from the opponent's heroes. If they've left, you can still get experience from them, I believe, so you want to make sure you clear them up as quickly as possible before you have to deal with the dude that managed to kill off his opponent first, which is John in this case. He's rolling around with some Scourgebone chimes on the Mountain King. At least that's good for him. You can see the Blade Master's just standing there. I'm pretty sure you do get experience, but he pretty much wants to take care of the fortress because that way he can take another expansion and just guarantee... lovely little Stormbolt there. Guarantee the gold mine. Okay, so Failfort has one heck of a powerful army here. He's rolled through to tanks here. He's got a lovely mixture of armies and units here. I really like what we're doing here as this human player. He's got the footman, he's got the priest support, spellbreakers, the triple hero, he's got the tanks, just providing that siege support. There's summons with the archmage, a lot of good items as well. I mean, the Staff of Silence is a game breaker for me in a lot of cases for free-for-all. Dota's doing his best to survive here, but it feels like he's totally and utterly overwhelmed here. The healing wards from the Razormane is pretty darn useful indeed. There's even a gyrocopter in there as well to potentially see fiends if they burrow. And Necromancer's coming out for Dota, but it's a little bit too late. He's got meat wagons to try to answer the problem with siege engines. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough. Banshee's spreading out Curse, but there are spell breakers to help deal with the spells. Nice use of the Staff of Sanctuary. Mountain King in a little bit of trouble here. There's still another heal going off here. Oh, the Mountain King taking a lot of abuse there in one volley. Oh my goodness, that Death Knight just needed to do one more hit. Although the Lich has finished him off with the Nova. And it looks like Failfort actually has pushed a little bit too hard here. He has an amazing army, but Dota's done a fantastic job of holding off there. I'm quite amazed by that. Well done indeed. However, there are things to consider from this. Whilst Failfort lost a hero and a fair chunk of his army, he's done a massive amount of damage to Dota. And it takes time to get all your buildings back and rebuild. So Dota's currently at 74 out of 40 food, which isn't looking too comfortable for him. Whereas Failfort has 62 out of 100 and is able to rebuild his army very quickly to go off into another battle. So that was a great job from Dota there. I'm surprised that actually worked out for him quite well, because it felt like he was in a lot of trouble there, but the nuke on the Mountain King really turned the tides of things there. So John making a good job of just clearing up the creep camps. He probably wants to pull the Archmage back, if anything, once he's got his water elementals down, because you can't get experience from creeps once you're level 5, so you want your other heroes to benefit from it. And since this is free for all, generally you want to roll out with triple heroes, because triple heroes is going to be where all the experience is, and you're going to want as much of it as possible. You're going to want 3 big, strong dudes to cast spells. And down goes one Sork and another one, since he's like, you know what, I don't need sorceresses anymore. Even a priest. This is an interesting tactic. Quite a few units killed there, but he's going to try to soak up as much gold as possible, I assume, since he wants to stay underneath the 50 food cap, which means he won't be taxed on his income from the gold mines. Failfort with the level 2 paladin, going to be soaking up experience. Meanwhile, his archmage chilling out at level 4, could take experience, but it's currently allowing his paladin to catch up a little bit here. Pick up Gauntlets of Ogre Strength, that's nice for him. Even a nice swap here of the Hellstone, since the paladin's going to be taking damage and the archmage isn't in so much threat since he's got priests nearby. It looks like he took a Tome of Retraining, I'm going to assume, so one must assume that there is going to be Blizzard from Failfort, which is a nice tech switch. Water elementals are very powerful indeed, but there's a good chance that your opponent has a strong counter to them in the way of Dispel, Destroyers, that sort of thing. So Blizzard is a more reliable source of DPS, providing the Archmage can stay alive and is in a position where he can cast it and actually hit units. Mountain King with the Orb of Fire here, clearing up the camp. So John has moved on to his 3rd hero, which is the level 1 Paladin. And he's really soaking in the gold now. There's a lot of gold mines on this map, but the gold mines aren't that plentiful. if I can see what this gold mine has, that'll be nice. And I would be able to see it, except John spotted Failfort's couple of peasants. But what's coming around the corner is Failfort's army. So John, you better have a town portal, because you're probably going to need it in a moment. Oh, we're starting off here. Stormbolt on the Mountain King, so he has to get away, which is nice, because that means he doesn't have to use his teleport. Down goes the Water Elemental. Quite a few dispels there from Failfort. Definitely does not want that Water Elemental to exist. Okie doke. So, let's have a look at this gold mine. 15,000 gold. That is a lot of gold, but I've seen gold mines in big free-for-all type maps have more than 20k, so you've got to bear in mind that whilst there are quite a lot of gold mines, 15k each, split amongst a multitude of players, particularly there's still 3 players left in the game here. This isn't a 1 versus 1 yet, this is still a 3-way free-for-all, since 1 player has been defeated. Dota has the Death Knight, level 5, the Lich, level 4, and the Dreadlord, level 2. So he's gone for the sleep abuse, by the looks of it, alongside Carrion Swarm. So area of effect damage, nuke potential, and CC, crowd control, of a Mountain King, or a Paladin, Storm Bolting, or Holy Lighting. 5,000 gold right now for John. This is the part of the game where I think gold really starts to come into play, and you need to start banking gold. So having that shredder, which Failfort has, so at 239 wood, actually surprisingly low, and I believe he still has his shredder alive somewhere. I can hear it. There we go. So it goes to show you how powerful that shredder is that even though he's only got 239 wood, he would have far less, because he's built so much with that wood, and that shredder has carried him quite far. If he was using peasants, he'd be in a lot more trouble. Dota's really going heavy here on the Temple of the Damned. He's only got 750 gold, so he needs to expand a little bit more, which is what he's working on. So he's taking the top side of the map, but John definitely has a bit more of the top, I would say, with all of these gold mines pretty much secured. Just the one underneath him. Meanwhile, he's going to have a little battle between Failfort for the bottom side gold mine. So the very top gold mine and the very bottom gold mine have been secured by Dota and Failfort. And I don't believe there are any creeps left in the game apart from up here at the top right. This Goblin Mercenary creep camp, which John is about to approach. So maybe there's a nice item here at least. Probably not from a creep camp such as this, but we can hope, because we'd love to see more awesome items. Speaking of which, John's Mountain King has the Runed Braces, 33% reduced damage, which is huge in a free-for-all situation. Any long game, basically, situation is a very, very big deal. Gloves of Haste, also useful here. A small item, but useful nonetheless. But I don't think John cares about it, considering he's actually got himself filled up with items on his heroes already. He's really enjoying the Periapts of Vitality with the Archmage. Seems it's very important for him to keep that Archmage alive and reduce the chance of being nuked to high hell. The Mountain King has the Runed Braces, because he often gets nuked as well. Because if you can keep the Mountain King under control, then you're going to have a much easier time. But with those Runed Braces, it's going to be harder to bring him down or threaten him in such a manner. Dota's rolling out here with Necromancers and Banshees alongside his Fiends and Destroyers and Statues and Triple Heroes. Failfort still has the Siege Engine army alongside the Tier 2 casters. And he's sitting at 80 food, so he's being taxed a little bit, but it allows him to have the power to hold off any potential attacks, since you don't ever really know when you're going to be getting attacked next, unless you've got your eyes everywhere or have sentry wards everywhere. Now, Dota's just scouted some valuable information there with his Destroyer. He's got to see the Mountain King and the Paladin, probably check out some of the items and look for a potential to get some harass here. But he's going to be dealing with someone that's got a setup built of towers. However, John, I'm not sure if he's got much of an army. He's sitting at 50 food, so he's in trouble, and he's calling out for help right now. He's killing me, he says. Here comes the the politics of free-for-all. Now, that might actually work against him because Fail4 is actually right near John. So, saying he's killing me just says, okay, I'm in trouble. So, Fail4's like, well, you're in trouble? Alright, well, let's go put you in more trouble, shall we? So, Dota's doing a little bit of harass, not committing too much to it. And now John, rather, has really heavily banked. 8,000 gold is going to have to start spamming out these units, which is currently what he's at the moment. He's at a high upkeep. And he's going to have to try to get the most out of these buildings because they ain't going to last very long with siege engines dealing it. So, down go the Griffin Averys. 2 of them before even one Griffin has come out here. Will we be able to see one Griffin? It does look like one will manage to make it out, but first is siege engines. He's going to be in trouble. So he's taken a risk and he's tried to bank as much gold as possible. It can work for you, but it is a proper gamble. And Fail4 is backing off here, not committing too much. But Dota's taken advantage of the fact that he knows John is also in trouble, since he's not having to deal with any immediate threat right now, which will suggest to him that he can basically run free and amok inside of the expansions, the exposed expansions of John. Fail4 almost taking the mick there with the peasants, suggesting that, yep, I'm going to use these to take your bases in a moment. He's securing expansions in the middle, and so is Dota. So we're looking at a situation where it could likely be Fail4 versus Dota if John is unable to build the army he needs to build. But speaking of which, we can see that he's rolling out with a couple of Griffins and many mortars. A huge counter production towards these tanks and the casters. However, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble versus the triple hero, the Griffins and the Spellbreakers with those mortars. So he's going to have to compensate with other units. He's got maximum upgrades from what I can tell. And yeah, Fail4 also has maximum upgrades too, except for he's got 2 armor on the Griffins. Otherwise, everything else seems to be maxed out. If we take a look at Dota, we can see that he has decided not to fully max out, but he's done a chunk of upgrading, but it hasn't fully upgraded yet, which is somewhere you definitely want to be, especially when you're at 99 out of 100 food. You may as well upgrade fully on that.
The town is under siege.
So the guys are now trying to work out how best to deal with one another, when to attack, when to avoid being ganked, and it looks like Fail4 is putting a strong push here. John is getting ready to respond to this. There's a lot of inner fire spread out amongst those Griffins, allowing them to take just a few more hits. No response to this other than a few priests. They might be able to get the dispels off, but it's not easy to get them into position without getting them killed, especially when there are Blizzard and Griffins nearby. So John's trying to fight this back, and you can see how powerful Blizzard can be. It's a very good hero to have, the Archmage, because of the non-stop brilliance aura and the ability to Blizzard tanks, which are normally very, very difficult for most races to handle. Oh my goodness, here comes Dota with a gank. It's a freeway and all players are meeting up in the middle. Got John on the right, Dota at the top right, left, and Fail4 underneath. Neither player wants to commit to a full-on fight here, and it almost looks like Dota's trying to come to an agreement with the other player to have a 1 versus 1 situation, and it looks like it's about to kick off. Dota's taking some damage here with his priest. Blizzard doing a lot of damage, so Dota's actually looking a little bit vulnerable with the army there, but he's going to be benefiting from the gold because of his upkeep situation, which isn't so bad. Archmage taking a fair bit of damage there. He's now getting a little bit battered, but Dota can't commit too much to the Archmage because he's being pushed back by the mortar teams and the Blizzard. John just doing what he needs to do. Needs to keep up on either the Dreadlord or the Death Knight, keep the threat real. Death Knight has a few more coils in him. I can see underneath on the mini-map the Fail4 starting to push up from underneath, Dreadlord going down, and both armies here getting very, very vulnerable, and it almost looks like a perfect position for Fail4 to come in here. He's going to pick off a lot of mortar teams potentially. He decides to focus the tank, the Paladin there. I would have gone straight for the mortar teams myself, picked off as many before the town portal goes off. Either way, we can see that John is in a lot of trouble. He's definitely got a lot of gold though. So he's got to keep those expansions for a long time. But he's paying the price now with a small army and getting battered left, right and centre from Dota and Failfort, both taking advantage of this almost mutual agreement to punish him for being the first player to get the other guy's expansions. So it's like, yep, let's give him a hard time, because otherwise he's going to be very difficult to deal with. Mortar teams scouting out Failfort, so John can see right about where Failfort is, his current situation, his items, Scroll of Protection and Scroll of Healing here on the Paladin. Very nice indeed. Failfort teleporting down below, so it looks like he wants to push underneath here. I don't see a proxy shop, but there is a goblin merchant nearby where he could pick up another Scroll of Town portal, should he not currently have one for any of his heroes. Lovely use here of the Staff of Sanctuary. Very nice on tanks as well, because they benefit from the heal here, which means you don't have to spend resources repairing them, because obviously they can't be healed by priests, because they're mechanical units, but they're mechanical units that can be magically healed in some ways, which is very nice indeed. Dota now starting to use some shades. He's got a boneyard here. He has one frostworm, which is about time, because undeads love their frostworms. And I would too, to be honest, because they're so freaking damn versatile. They might be a bit slow, but they freeze other players. They can freeze buildings. They can deal with towers. They can slow down enemy units. Very good for damage as well on focused fire, alongside the Huam Orb that is known as the Orb of Corruption. Scouts going off here. We can see Dota being scouted out. Failfort getting ready for another battle at the bottom here. But I believe John shouldn't be too far away. No, he isn't. He's quite nearby. So the human players seem to opt for this Priest, Spellbreaker, Mortar team build alongside Griffins and Siege engines with their triple heroes. Blizzard's going to play a big part in this, because it's hard to commit to a battle when you've got to basically run through a mass area of effect spells. So John's using his advantage of the heal here, trying to keep close to it so he can reduce the chance of misses and increase the chance of Failfort's misses. We can see that Failfort still holds on to this Medicine Man, which is very good indeed because of the healing ward benefits. And once more Dota punishing John up at the top here, his last expansion being left there. Dota doesn't seem like he wants to commit fully to this. John is yielding apparently, because he is under a lot of threat, and it's not going to get any easier for him. Whilst he has banked that gold, he's in a situation where both the other players are starting to really take advantage of the gold mines from the middle and the top and the bottom. The middle of the map basically. So we can see the gold mine in the middle really does have a lot, because that's above 15,000 gold and that's been mined for a little while now. Yes indeed. That's pretty tricky. So Dota not committing any more damage here, even though he had the potential to go and finish off this last expansion of John. Maybe he still wants John to be alive in some shape or form so he can be a threat to Failfort. However, when all players do have a decent chunk of gold, chucking units at each other inevitably results in experience gained. And the more experience you get, the more powerful your heroes get. So at the same time, you don't particularly want your enemies to be battling each other too much if they're benefiting from experience. Dota running in here with the Banshee shields, anti-magic shields, trying to nuke down the Priest by the looks of it. Hit and run is the best strategy for any undead player, because it's very difficult to stay in an elongated fight versus powerful human heroes and armies. Nice job there with the Burrowed Crypt Fiend. Really took a lot of damage there from the Griffins thanks to the the anti-magic shield. So he actually managed to keep that Burrowed Crypt Fiend alive. So lovely job there. Technically nothing lost here for Dota, and he's picked off a few units here and there, but now it goes down the Fiend. It's not really a huge deal to lose the Fiend. And bringing in some meat wagons to try to deal with the Siege engine threat is a nice job. He's just going to keep wanting to pick off the units that he can essentially nuke with his spells. Razormane is probably the next target here. And that Fiend is not going to stay alive after that much abuse. Blizzard trying to push back the undead But the undead rolls forth nonetheless. We can see on the right hand side of the map, John is just trying to re-establish his position, and he's going to be able to do so nicely. So Dota's going to be taking a bit of a punishment here for fighting this battle between Failfort, who is in a pretty good position there to some degree, at least with the siege tanks. But Griffin's now being picked left, right and centre. The web going down, the nuke from the heroes. This army of Failfort is becoming smaller and smaller, yet the siege engines remain, but they won't be all that much use to powerful frostworms that can take a lot of hits. So Griffins are being picked off here, as we can see. Dota really focusing those down, but experience still being granted to Failfort after he picks off Fiend after Fiend, alongside Necromancers and other casters. Dota's hero on the wrong end of the map here, but he has got Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, but he's absorbed a coil. He might want to focus on the invulnerability soon, because another Stormbolt to the face could definitely deal with him quite nicely indeed. He's going to go down. Too much going on there. Failfort taking advantage of the situation, because John has been harassing at the top, which no doubt distracted Dota just for a moment there, costing him his Dreadlord. He's now having to teleport out of this situation. He's done some good damage, but he's going to have to get back here, which is a shame, because if he could stay in that fight just a little bit longer, he might have been able to deal with Failfort. So, we've got John punishing Dota for punishing him earlier on. It's the beauty of free-for-all, is just all of these guys just really giving each other a hard time. So John with his level 5 Mountain King, level 5 Archmage and level 3 Paladin, looking like he might still be in the game here because of this exchange between, well, Failfort and Dota. Having a tough time. More Frostworms coming through though, so always powerful. However, you can't fully dedicate to Frostworms because they can be countered by human tanks or gyrocopters in appropriate mass. However, you can get away with a decent chunk of Frostworms. You've got to get the right balance really, so Dota's playing it quite well, with just a Banshee or a Necromancer here and there, just trying to provide those supports from the casters as well. Failfort sitting in the middle here, probably been scouted by a mortar team, by John. And John is deciding to roll forward here and throw down a blizzard amongst Failfort's group, which is all bundled together. Very nice damage output there for John. Very good way to initiate his fight here and his presence. Dota's still sitting in his base trying to recover. Failfort looks like he's not sure whether he should commit to this fight, so he's in a moment where he's running back. There's a lot of mortar teams, some siege engines. Very mixed army here for the human players. Free-for-all does force you to play in such a manner that you do need to spread out your forces. Looks like Failfort's coming in here, proceeding to attack. Can the mortar teams get in a good position to take down some of the siege engines? Blizzard going down here, both blizzards going off on either side. Does look like Failfort's Medicine Man might be going down. Mountain King throwing down the Stormbolt, taking a lot of damage there for the Archmage, and getting rid of one of the blizzards. But down goes another blizzard. Staff of Silence now using the Mountain King. No Stormbolts left for him. Does look like John's army is being battered quite heavily here. Failfort still has some mana left in the Paladin, but he might lose the Paladin. Oh, such a close chance there. Looks like the Hellstone must have been taken in that situation, or a huge potion nonetheless. Failfort in a lot of trouble with all of his heroes, but we can see that John's used a Scroll of Resurrection, getting all of his army back. And now down goes Failfort's Mountain King. John just trying to stay alive. Level 6 in the Archmage. Paladin down for Failfort. Really in a big problem here, because the Archmage is going to have to go back, but he's going to lose the Archmage now. He's picked up the Mountain King with the Tavern. Since they're fighting nearby, it's going to be expensive to do so. He's got 5,000 gold in the bank. He's now picking up his Paladin as well. What a battle in between this Tavern here. We can see John, is he going to pick up anything? He doesn't need to pick up his heroes just yet, because they're still doing quite well. Paladin keeping the Archmage alive. It's the only one in threat right now. Lots of Griffin Riders for Failfort, looking strong, but the rest of the army for Failfort is now having to retire and retreat. Wow, lovely job there from John there. Failfort chucking down fuck my life. So whilst John has been having this huge battle, it looks like Dota has been taking care of his expansions and getting a little bit of experience there himself. Level 6 on the Death Knight, level 4 on the Lich, very near level 5 and level 3 on the Dreadlord. But this battle, this engagement between John and Failfort has boosted John up to a level 6 Archmage, a level 6 Mountain King and a level 5 Paladin. This is big. John is well and truly back in the game. In fact, he might now be the player with the most strength because he's still banked the most gold. Despite having his bases attacked over and over in situations where he didn't have much control over it, he's managed to take care of most of the expansions that the other players desperately needed. And he's now teleporting in here with his Archmage to level 6, trying to nuke down some of Dota's army. And he's doing a fantastic job of this, because not only is this really screwing over Dota, it's going to take him a while to rebuild that. It's actually throwing him, phasing him, and he's getting experience for it as well in the same process. Mountain King is going to roll in a little bit stronger maybe, or is he not committing anymore? No, there's another teleport going off here. He's now teleporting over to Failfort's expansion down at the bottom, leaving Failfort with only 1 gold mine left, I believe. Nope, no gold mines left. This is it. He's now lost all of his gold. He's down to 2,900 gold, which isn't that much in a free-for-all situation, particularly if one of your opponents has 10,000 gold. So he's banked a lot of gold, John, early on. Taking care of Green early on there, Green Boy, the Blade Master Boy. And that's worked very well for him after all. He's just had to stay alive, and he's done it fantastically. So good job for him. Dota now trying to spread his dominance. He's got 1,600 gold. It's not very much, but he is trying to get these expansions back up and hoping that John is going to be slightly too busy to deal with them. He's now teleporting in here over to Failfort's main base, and it's initiating a huge fight here. Archmage coming back there for Failfort, almost in the nick of time there to throw down some Blizzard on the enemy mortar teams. The battle position here is quite interesting indeed. It looks like Failfort's holding up his own, but there are lots of siege engines throwing down quite a lot of threat here on Failfort's air supplies. But the Mountain King with Avatar and the Orb of Fire definitely pushing some damage towards those Dragon Hawk Riders. Even the Shredder from so long ago is doing his best to try. But unfortunately, he actually gives us a huge chunk of experience, allowing John to move up here to level 7 Archmage, probably level 3 on the Brilliance Aura stage, which is huge chunks of mana, which is big deal for like a level 6 Mountain King with the level 3 Storm Bolts, and I think he's got Clap as well, so, well, he's got the claps. We've got John, level 5 Paladin, running back a little bit here. I believe his Defiant Shield must be off cooldown, otherwise he wouldn't be running. He's getting, now there we go, he's back now. And he's keeping his Archmage alive. He's allowing the Mountain King just to snipe off the Griffin Riders with the Dragon, the Storm Bolts. Siege engines pushing away what's left of this army, and it looks like John's going to take over this base. Mountain King chasing after an Archmage. That's not a position you want to be in, an Archmage, but he decides to go for the units instead, just making sure that Failfort's got virtually nothing left. We've got 93 food versus 41. It's looking pretty nasty indeed. But in comes Dota from the right hand side, rolling in with the Death Knight at level 6. The Dreadlord level 3. Oh, Failfort, you are stuck between a rock and a hard place indeed. He's actually having to teleport out of here. But where can he really retire to at this point? He's forcing an engagement though between John and Dota. So is Dota in a position where he can punish John? It looks like he can. He takes out the Paladin, so it's a lovely step for him. John deciding to back out of this situation because he didn't ask for this. And he's actually been denied. The sleep going off there from Dota. Oh, thank goodness for John having another Scholar Town portal there, because he would have really been screwed at that point if he was not able to flee from that situation. Dota definitely in trouble himself though. His Frostwind's not looking too healthy. However, he was in trouble with his heroes, John. So Dota could have picked those off, and then that would have really slowed down John. But John still has a situation where he has 8,500 gold still. So he's in a big position to rebuild everything, even could pick things up from the tavern. But you don't particularly want to start picking up level 7 odd heroes, because that's going to cost you like 800 gold a pop, and probably about 400 wood. Dota needs to use these statues and get himself back in the game. He's still at the 80 food cap. John broadening his horizons with farms placed elsewhere on the map for potential mass teleport harass abuse. So nice touch there. Forward thinking there from John. Siege engines rolling up here to the top to check if there is an expansion. They can deal with it. If there isn't, then that's good scouting information. So all players taking a bit of a timeout period right now. 2,000 gold at this mine. Not a huge deal, but it's still probably worth taking, if nothing else, to deny the other players from getting that gold. Lots of mana here still for the undead heroes. Almost fully capped at 540 mana is the Lich. That's a lot of Frost Novas. A lot of Frost Novas. So, I'd say humans have the advantage once they hit the mass teleport, because you're about to see why. That's why. Throw down the storm bolt, put the enemy under threat, force them to run away, and deal with it. And maybe you get a kill from it. But there's a lot of siege engines now, so John has a strong plan here, which is to basically eradicate Dota, in my opinion. Since he knows that Fail4 is in a lot of trouble since their last engagement, it's unlikely that Fail4 should be able to recuperate so quickly. So with a multitude of siege engines such as these, he should be able to really give Dota a hard time. And I believe he's going to teleport up here. Yes, he is, to the farm. Very forward thinking, and unfortunately I would hate to be in the undead in this situation, because siege engines are one of the undead's worst nightmares. And even if they've got a few meat wagons, even if they've got a multitude of meat wagons, siege engines are an unstoppable force. And it does look like Dota knows he's in trouble. He's calling out for help. He's throwing down the Banshee's anti-magic shield, trying to absorb as much damage as possible. Death Knight in a lot of trouble here, in a bad spot. Can't seem to run away. He's already used the Scroller Town portal. Doesn't have a second backup one. Oh, John throwing in a bad mana teleport there. And he just gets even closer towards his opponent. Throwing down the Death Knight, and Dota's just backing off here with his other two heroes, trying to do some sort of damage here. If the Lich was level 6 with the Death and Decay, it might be able to provide some sort of use. But there is a Mountain King that can still throw down Storm Bolts. So that's not very easy. And speaking of which, down goes one of the Fiends to the Storm Bolts. It does look like Dota feels a little bit upset. He's about to lose. No, can he get down the Mountain King? Is John going to heal him up? Oh, he actually chooses to eradicate the Lich instead with the Holy Light. Smite down the Lich, and down goes the Dreadlord. That anti-magic shield absorbed a lot of damage from that Storm Bolt, but couldn't take much damage from the basic hits that the Mountain King provides, which is a lot of damage now at this point since he's level 8. Does look like Dota is now out of the game. John just got the one bad mana siege tank, just trying to do some damage towards Fail4's base. Fail4 doing what he can, since he knows that his opponent is currently busy. He has to try to slow him down in one shape or form, but it looks like he's in a bit of trouble. He could just teleport out of this situation. I would highly suggest it before it gets any worse, because it's not John with the Staff of Silence. It's Fail4. Fail4 has the Staff of Silence, but I believe that's on his Mountain King? But he doesn't have his Mountain King. He needs to get his gold back, and wood back as well, before he can even consider getting that Mountain King. I assume he's going to want to build him any second now, because he's going to need him. You can't really fight so strong against triple hero armies without a triple hero yourself. And John just punishing over here. We've even got siege engines by themselves, just trying to bring down Dota's food supply. He's at 3,700 gold, so he's got cash, but he hasn't got a way to use it, because all of his buildings are scattered and there's pretty much no production buildings left at this point. So Dota is pretty much out of this game right now. John just trying to take down Fail4's castle, and he's teleporting away over to the top here of Dota's base, finishing off what seems to be the last of these production facilities. Level 8 Archmage, level 8 Mountain King, level 7 Paladin. This is a very strong end game army indeed. And I say army, the heroes are basically the army. The units are very supportive, but at this point the heroes are the army. And Fail4 not looking so strong anymore. Level 6 Archmage, level 4 Mountain King, and level 4 Paladin is really quite fragile in comparison. John has 2 to 3 levels on each of his heroes above Fail4, and Fail4 is currently the only real threat. We can see that Dota is doing his best to stay in the game, and I suppose if you're playing for cash, you may as well. A little bit of a work and micro going on here, trying to deal with the threat, push him away, whilst trying to maintain the gold mine. I like it. John has nothing to lose here from continuously using these siege engines. Just trying to batter each of the armies. Regrets now coming through for all players. Dota his hidden retrieval base. His desperation to get back into the game looks like it's been spotted, and one siege engine will destroy it all. He even admits he will unsummon, taking away some of the pleasure of that siege engine. Saving the siege engine some money though. He's not having to spell out so much on the... Oh, Archmage getting stormbolted there just before mass teleport going off. Fail fort now leaving the game, and John looks like he's about to take the victory here. Where is he off to now? To finish off the last cigarette and rub it in. Great job there from John. He did a lot of harass early on, or he was responding to a lot of harass from Green Boy, and managed to hold his own despite being in a very tricky situation versus both Dota and Failfort in many 1 versus 2 situations. Really well played there. That gold banking paid off big time because he would have lost without that cash. But I shouldn't really put it all on that because he was smart with his units, his choice, his spells usage, his heroes, his play overall allowed him to take victory that game. So well played to John, and well played to everyone else. Welcome back to the second game of Play Free for All. It's 1.15, this game, and there's, well, all the way up to 1.15, so 14 games have been played up until this point, or are currently still in motion. So we're rolling around with the same map. I'm not sure if it's going to be this map every single time. It might be for balance reasons, or maybe the second game could potentially be a new map, or the finals. We'll see. But for now, let's concentrate on what's actually happening. We've got Rageaholic spawning as the purple orc at the top right. Going to be a standard build. No Tauren Chieftain Headhunters here, from what I can tell. At the bottom right, we have Furtado, who hasn't built a barracks yet, so maybe we might see the Tauren Chieftain Headhunters from him. At the bottom left we have the yellow, or I like to say gold, human, who is really spreading out here with probably an Archmage and Footman. I feel that humans, more than almost any other race, are kind of a little bit pigeonholed into how they build, because the Archmage, Mountain King and Paladin combination is so powerful that you're kind of crazy to do anything but that. So I would understand it if that's his choice. Now, Feta Ook is the blue orc at the top left, and he has not built himself a barracks either. He's going for Blade Master and a food lounge, so we're gonna see a fast tech, possibly a tier 2 push, which could be very powerful because it tends to be effective against human players indeed. But he's not gone for the fast here, so I don't imagine it's going to be Blade Master and then a tier 2 push with the Fire Lord. I just don't see it happening. Looks like Furtado's decided to go Blade Master and went against my wishes and didn't get the Tauren Chieftain and Headhunters. So we're going to see two of the orcs, top left and bottom right, deciding to go down the Blade Master route. Now, this is going to drop an item. No, I was going to wonder whether he knew the map well enough as to which Centaur Drudge to go for to get the item. However, Feta Ook taking a different... Oh, you should have run away a little bit more there. He might even take another hit here. Oh, he actually used Windwalk just to stop himself taking any more hits and save some healing cells. It's a little bit unfortunate there. But he decided to go for the middle creep camp, giving himself the Circle of Nobility. A different approach indeed. At the top right, you can see that Rageaholic with the more standard orc build still hasn't teched yet. But we'll probably see a tech in a moment from him, I imagine. I'd be surprised. Feta Ook is not actually teching. He's... No, sorry, he's teching, but he's not tier 2 pushing by any means. He's doing this bizarre delay tactic on the creeps to actually take an expansion, which is, in a bizarre way, well, can I say working? It is working, but it's a kind of messy way to do it. He will probably be able to take care of this, but it's going to be sloppy at best. Now, You Got Shaved is at the bottom here with an Archmage, Gloves of Haste and Mantle of Intelligence, and an expansion already on the way. So off to a very good start there, our human player. Furtado has rolled over to the Goblin Merchant nearby. He's picked up some items. He probably wants to sell some of these, I imagine. The only one he wants is the boost of speed. Very good. Rageaholic taking care of his Goblin Laboratory, so we might see a Shredder. That's definitely something I'd be interested in, no doubt. And Feta finally takes down the creep camp and secures that expansion point. And gets a level 2 Blade Master as a reward. Quite amusing that. So I like that all things ended well there for him. I guess if he ever has to do that again, he's going to do it slightly differently. Slightly more efficient at least. So level 3 Archmage soon for You Just Got Shaved. If he can pick off this green camp nearby, that'd be nice for you, wouldn't it? Level 2 Water Elementals, imagine that. Lovely. Imagine all the creeping possibilities with that. Furtado, Gloves of Haste, bit better there for the Blade Master. And he's gonna wait it out a little bit. His tech has been complete. He's got a tower here to secure his bestiary, and his second hero is going to be the Tauren Chieftain. Rageaholic now throwing down an expansion at his nearest expansion. Well, that kind of doesn't make sense. Just throwing down an expansion at his nearest gold mine would make more sense. Feta teching to tier 3 and going Tauren Chieftain. So the Blade Master Tauren Chieftain, is that a thing? Curious. I guess that's a thing, huh? It works though so far, because both of these players have managed to be somewhat successful with just rolling around a Blade Master alone. The Shredder being useful here, taking quite a lot of damage from the Centaur and Paler. He needs to get back and get that wood. Tauren Chieftain coming in. Tag team. Tauren Chieftain gets in there, can soak up some damage, no problem. Rageaholic. Now he's picked up the... No, that's not his, is it? No, it's not, because it's beaten on grunts. That'd be a bad medicine man if that was his own one. A little bit of racial wars going on there. So Furtado finishing off his Goblin Laboratory. Meanwhile, You Just Got Shaved, using those Water Elementals to good use, trying to take care of this Bronze Drake camp. Securing another expansion, providing he can clear it. His tech is only just completed now at tier 2, but it's not like he's under any immediate threat or has the immediate use for casters just yet. Feta Bestiary at the back and towards the tier 3 has almost been completed. Furtado concentrating on those bestiaries, going down the Raider road. Interesting. Well, it's needed for the Bronze Drakes at least, so I can understand that. But I'm not sure if he's going to do any hit and runs with it. We can see that Feta just slightly too late there because Rageaholic's already cleared this creep camp, so he's missed his opportunity to at least check it, get a creep gank. If he was there just a little bit earlier, he could have picked off a couple of grunts or so. Rageaholic picking up his second hero, which is the Shadow Hunter. I tell you what, it would be interesting if the human player actually gets picked off here very early on, because then it's just going to be 3 orcs, each using a slightly different tactic. So that's the nice thing I like about this, is we've got 3 orcs. 1 orc plays the standard, Blade Master, grunts, into a reasonable expansion. Another orc, fast techs, Blade Masters and Tauren Chieftains, but does this bestiary with Raiders thing, and no expansion secured so far, whilst the other orc does a Blade Master into Tauren Chieftain thing, but uses the Blade Master in such a manner that he actually manages to clear the creep camp eventually to take an expansion, which he can now take advantage of. That'll pay off for those healing cells that he was missing a little bit earlier on. In comes the Mountain King for You Just Got Shaved, so like I say, your human players are almost definitely going to be pigeonholed down this Archmage, Mountain King, Paladin road. I suppose you could get the Blood Mage in there, and he'd be worthy, but the Paladin is incredible support. A very strong, straight up heal that can deny a hero kill is a big deal in endgame fights. Claws of Attack, Slippers of Agility, Gloves of Haste on Rageaholic's Blade Master, who's currently just hit level 4. He's going to be a bit of a beast, particularly if he's got a potential harass road down here. No, he's backing off here. But the Raiders are going to try to force an engagement here. Looks like he's going to sacrifice those grunts. Now, I don't think he would have been in a position where he could do much versus this army, but I think he could have held his own enough so that he could slowly back off without losing units straight up. So Furtado definitely gets a couple of grunts for free there. A Wyvern coming in there for Furtado. A Wyvern here for Feta-Ook. So where's Rageaholic's Wyverns? Now he's the Orc that's decided to go down a more standard road. So no Wyverns for him so far. You just got shaved, using up his healing to keep himself in the game and try to creep just that little bit more. Those red creep camps do pack a punch. Looks like he's about to get screwed by... Is that Feta-Ook? Yes, it is. I'm starting to remember the names now. He's rolling in with the triple heroes now. So he's got Shadowhunter third and Wyverns. And it looks like he's coming in at perfect time in here. This is horrible. Stormbolt goes off on You Just Got Shaved there from the Medicine Man. And he might actually be able to pick up a kill here. No, he doesn't quite, but he does screw over. You Just Got Shaved amazingly well. And is in a position to clear this creep camp if he can just not lose that Shadowhunter. That would be so nice. Oh, this is quite ugly indeed. Bring down the Razor main chieftain, get the experience, get the item, and possibly get out. A very good item. Amulet of Spell Shield blocks a negative spell that an enemy casts on a hero once every 40 seconds. This is a big deal. Rageaholic. Ah, the grudge has begun between Rageaholic and Furtado. So, for losing a couple of those grunts earlier, he's trying to cost Furtado his expansion, which is kind of a big deal, because if Furtado stays under threat throughout the game and cannot secure an expansion, he won't last all that long, particularly if Rageaholic can hold on to his own expansion and outmass him. So we're rolling into tier 3 now for Rageaholic. He's one of the orcs that actually didn't go straight towards tier 3, unlike the other two orcs who did. So he's taking it slow. And if his Blade Master is prepared to come back, he could probably take down that... no. I think it's too... sorry. I think it's too late now to do that, but... hey-ho. It's a shame. But he's expanding out throughout the map, and he's taking the top spot here with the Great Hole. So that's nice for him. You Just Got Shaved, trying to power up his triple hero combo. The human triple hero combo, of which I have spoken so much about so far this game, the Archmage, the Mountain King and the Paladin, all providing very good uses to take care of creeps and enemy units, heroes, as the game progresses. Rageaholic in a bit of a messy position versus his creep camp, but we'll probably deal with it nonetheless. I'm not sure where his Blade Master's gone off to, probably looking for... oh no, he's over here actually, he's okay, he's fine. The Lion Horn of Stormwind, not the best of the powerful items, but not terrible for Orc. They do like to tank stuff, so I guess they'll enjoy some of that armor. Now it looks like Furtado's starting to clear out his bottom gold mine. No major clashes between the the players on this map, except for just now and a little bit before. You have Feta-Ook and You Just Got Shaved having their first little ruckus, really. Major ruckus, I would say. Otherwise, it's been Furtado and Rageaholic who have been doing a few skirmishes here and there, but nothing too major. So no major grudges, but probably a few little grudges that are building up and will, you know, inevitably become something big further on down the line. Okay, so we're just literally looking at an Inferno Stone right now on that Paladin. Oh, how long is he going to hold on to that Inferno Stone? Because if he can be patient and hold on to it for when it really matters, like the final fight, that could be a game breaker, and I'm really hoping that's going to be the case. We get to the final battle and in comes the freaking Inferno. That could be fantastic. But you've got to bear in mind that if he's not using that, and all of these gold mines and creeps have been crept, and all the items have been purchased for the heroes, that's taking up spot. That's taking up a spot that could be a Scroll of Healing or something else. Potion of Mana, Potion of Healing, you name it. And for all those fights that You Just Got Shaved has, where he doesn't use that Inferno Stone, he's one item out of his inventory. Now that doesn't sound like a major thing, but again, for things like free-for-alls, it is a pretty big deal, really. Furtado scouting out towards his red creep camp on the right-hand side of the map. Is he going to be able to take it? Rageaholic isn't anywhere to be seen from where I can tell. He's currently in his base recuperating. He's actually getting a Tauren Totem and a Spirit Lodge. Meanwhile, Feta-Ook is also going for a Tauren Totem. Two of them. Alright, so I'm starting to see how the whole Orc build works out. Unfortunately, Furtado's getting a little bit battered here with his Wyverns. They do take a lot of damage, and that bloody Harpy Queen is now starting to benefit from regeneration. Ooh, she got a few cheeky hits in there. An Inferno Stone picked up here as well. Going to see multiple Inferno Stones. That's quite nice indeed. Blade Master, rightfully so, with the Orb of Lightning, just as well. But unfortunately lost a couple of Wyverns to try to clear that creep camp. So one of the things I like about commentating on these free-for-all games is if I play the free-for-alls, I wouldn't be sure what to build, but I'm going to assume that these guys know what they're doing, at least more than I do. So as an Orc, it looks like you're rolling out with the Blade Master, the Tauren Chieftain and the Shadow Hunter, alongside Raiders, Kodo, Wyverns and Taurens. Ooh, you just got shaved. We're seeing a bit of deja vu here. Our yellow human at the bottom left here, with the tier 2 human casters, griffins and tanks. So I suppose once you hit this point, you start to punish your opponents, because it's like, I may as well capitalize. I've got siege engines, they're amazing, let's use them. Feta Ook asking him to stop. I'm not sure how often that's really going to work, unless he wants to strike up a deal. But Feta Ook doesn't look like he's in a position where he can actually do much versus this. He's actually being really crafty here. He's saying, I am fighting right, stop. But he's not fighting right. So he's trying to make out as though he's currently in trouble, and he's hoping that You Just Got Shaved is going to agree to some gentleman's agreement or something like that, where he won't attack another player if he's in a 1 versus 2 situation. However, free-for-all is all about taking everything. So why would you not fight in a situation where you have an advantage? It's free-for-all, for goodness sake. Taurens here, they'll be a bit of a threat towards the tanks, but they are quite countered by the Griffins, and the Wind Riders are countered by the Siege Engines. But we're going to see whether Bloodlust actually makes a big difference here, because Bloodlust with Taurens and Pulverize can really turn things around. As you're about to see, a couple of Pulverizes, very nice there. But the position here is a little bit awkward. Wyvern's trying to do some damage here. I think they're picking off the Griffins, and then that allows the Taurens to run free, whilst the Wyverns run back outside of the Siege Engine range. Archmage being hexed there. Looks like Feta Ook is actually going to throw down some real punishment here if he can keep his Taurens alive. He's trying to make the use of these Wyverns, but at the same time he can't really keep bringing them in, because they're just going to get picked off and grant experience towards You Just Got Shaved. Meanwhile, in the middle, oh, lovely use of Book of the Dead, but unfortunately it's on the Blade Master, and we walk away. We've got 2 players over here basically chasing one another, but I've got to concentrate on this fight since this is really critical right now, and then I'll look over in the middle in a moment. Does look like You Just Got Shaved has been pushed back. Both players losing a considerable amount, but I'd say that actually went better for Feta Ook, considering that a battle was really important for You Just Got Shaved to try to essentially bring down his opponent, because he wants to take over his base. And now he's not in a position where he's able to do that anytime soon. So let's have a look at our Rageaholic dude. Has he got level 5 Blade Master? Oh no, level 4.5. He's rolling around with a level 3 Shadow Hunter. Has he got his third hero? Yes, he does. And it's a Tauren Chieftain who's coming into the mix, picking up some nice items, even an Orb of Lightning. This is one of the nice things about being Orc, is he's also got a Troll Witch Doctor, throwing down Sentry Wards, 10-minute map hack vision, basically. It's very, very, very important in a free-for-all. In big, long games, I know because they're playing the rather the Tower Islands with Praki, Tauren Chieftain. You gonna do it? No, you're not. You're gonna let him live. You're an honourable chieftain. You know, any little bit of vision is super key, because if you know where your enemies are, then you know where they're not, and that's where you go and hit. He's got a very strong army here. He's pretty kitted out inventory wise. Tauren Chieftain with the lower level items. Shadow Hunter, with interesting items, but nothing too fascinating there. A lot of bats coming out now for our Orc players. So a strong counter to the Wind Riders, but what can they do versus the human player? So the longer the human player stays in this game, the more interesting the meta is going to become, because he is going to forever change how the other Orc players play. Whereas the other Orc players are like, yep, my bats counter your Wyverns, but my bats are going to be useless against that human player, so I can't go too heavy into bats. So it's kind of interesting. Looks like Rageaholic going to commit to a few tanks here. Ah, but you just got shaved. Catching him out here. Staff of Silence being used there on Rageaholics, Shadow Hunter. Luckily, he has the Scroll of Town Portal because he was the one that got focused. So he manages to get out of that little battle there and not lose anything. But Staff of Silence once more is such a good item. It really is. It's got to be the Mountain King that has it. Where is he? Just trying to find the little fella. There we go. Once more, Staff of Silence, a huge item to pick up in a free-for-all game. Very, very nice indeed. Oh, we're going to have a bit of a battle here, but I'd say that You Just Got Shaved does not want to commit to this. He does not look anywhere near as powerful as Feta Ook, who managed to hold his own in the previous battle. If You Just Got Shaved can actually pick off the blade, no, he's not going to be able to do it. Looks like the Shadow Hunter does manage to escape there with the invulnerability pot. Blade Master just trying to put down some threat here. You Just Got Shaved really committing towards this. He's got his tanks, they're being a threat towards the Wind Riders, but the Tauren Chieftain is still going strong. He's at level 3 at the moment. He's even got his attacks. Inferno Stone finally being used here. We're going to turn the tide a little bit here. Feta Ook's in trouble with his Wyverns. His Archmage, You Just Got Shaved, is going to get into threat here. Invulnerability pot going off there. Tauren Chieftain, looks like Feta Ook's actually having to get back. He's going to lose the Tauren Chieftain. He's going to lose the Blade Master as well. No, not quite. Oh, that didn't go as well for Feta Ook as I predicted it would do. Maybe 1 or 2 more Taurens would have made a huge difference in that battle. But You Just Got Shaved, not in a very comfortable position. He probably shouldn't be able to get away with this expansion if Feta Ook can deal with it. But maybe he's going to let him take that expansion and heal up. No, he's not. He's going to Town Portal straight away towards it, which he's still going to lose anyway, probably, unless he can take care of the tanks. It looks like You Just Got Shaved has actually decided to relinquish, get rid of his tanks, and teleport out of there. So Feta Ook saves his expansion. Nicely done there. On the right-hand side of the map, we've got Rageaholic with this lovely mixed orc army. Raiders, Bat Riders, Wyverns, Shaman, Witch Doctors, Taurens, Kodos, pretty much everything you can imagine. Furtado sitting tight by a shop, getting ready to pick up some nice stuff, maybe a scroll of healing or 2, alongside all of these units. He's looking pretty good right now to respond, so he's in the right place at the right time. In come the Bat Riders, picking off quite a few units, a few Bat Riders left. Take care of that last little Wyvern. Look at him, he's right there. Never mind, we're going heavy on the Tauren Chieftain, who actually has the Scroll of Town Portal. These players are getting it right a lot of the time. It's quite impressive, actually. It seems like the hero that gets focused is the hero that has the Town Portal or the invulnerability pot. Because if that was me, I probably wouldn't have the invulnerability pot on the hero that was getting bloody focused, and then I'd lose that hero because he got Staff of Silence, and, well, you know, probably lose the game. So these guys are doing a really good job of making sure that they're basically distributing their items to the right heroes. It's basically keeping them in the game. That Infernal Stone, cheeky chappy, just running around trying to get out to no good. What is he like, eh? What are you like? Doesn't look like you're going to get much more done, to be honest, by the time you run out. So, 1 Inferno Stone down, but I believe Furtado still has an Inferno Stone. Where is it, you say? It's on the Tauren Chieftain. Yes, indeed. He's also got Book of the Dead. He's got a few summons going on there. He's got a Book of the Dead on the Shadow Hunter as well. So, if he's in a situation where he's fighting an opponent who doesn't have Dispel or a way to get rid of summons, he could really outmass them. He could make so many summon units that it actually just ends up blocking the enemy. So, that's curious. You Just Got Shaved, moving out here to the middle with his militia, but looks like his timing's a little bit off because Feta Ook is out for some harass, and he's going to get some harass right now on Rageaholic's base, unless he doesn't want to aggro the beast. Oh, Rageaholic's going to pick up some experience for his Blade Master right here. This is the risk of sending militia on their own, particularly when there's a bunch of orcs on the map, is the Blade Master can take care of it quite nicely. However, Rageaholic is now under threat with his Great Hall. Is he going to try to repair it and teleport to it? He's got his Blade Master nearby. Can his army respond to it? It looks like he's not going to save this, and Feta Ook is going to try to secure it for his own. He's got a Witch Doctor, Feta Ook, so he can chuck down a Sentry Ward to try to spot that Blade Master should he try to come back. Furtado with a large army now, 98 out of 100 food. This is something I should probably be paying attention to a little bit more now in this point of the game. It's the gold situation. So all players are currently off right now. As we can see, Feta Ook, 2,000 gold, 1,000 wood, 78 food. versus You Just Got Shaved, who's got 5,000 gold, 3,900 wood and 80 food. So he looks like he's sitting at a bit more of an economic position, but he's got the respec as well on the Archmage towards Blizzard. At least I think he might have done that quite early on, because I think he was doing Blizzard before anyway. But anyway, what's going on here is he's just trying to survive. His heroes are being focused, which allows his units to run amok amongst Fetarook's army. Fetarook is not doing so well in this situation whatsoever. A very good battle there for You Just Got Shaved. Meanwhile, Furtado, still 96 food, 3,600 gold, 400 wood, versus Rageaholic with 8,300 gold and 2,000 wood. So Rageaholic with his standard build has been doing very well. Lots of Batrider battles going off here. But has Rageaholic got enough units to deal with Furtado's max army? It looks like he has, because those Batriders must have done something. Inferno Stone coming in here, really mixed up into Rageaholic's battle. Blue freaking Fetarook asking for help. I don't think he's going to get any help. Blamemaster going psycho here with Bloodlust all over the shop. Inferno holding his own right now. Furtado pushing in here, using summons. Scroll of the Dead, Inferno, Book of the Dead rather, Inferno. He's really pushing strong. Rageaholic, whilst all that gold is so good for him, he looks like he's getting battered here by the army of Furtado. Shadowhunter in trouble, trying to run away. Rageaholic still got his Blademaster, trying to bring down Furtado's Blademaster. He can't actually win walk just yet. He goes down. Down goes the experience now for Rageaholic, moving up into level 5. Furtado throwing down the Tauren Chieftain. War Stomp. We've got Furtado also trying to heal up his army as well. So he's still looking strong. He lost his Blademaster, but my goodness, he's still holding his own, and Rageaholic is in a really bad spot right now. Speaking of in a bad spot, we've got Fetarook who's being pretty much crushed at this point. But You Just Got Shaved, but he's still got a very large army. He's at 100 food right now. You Just Got Shaved at 80 food. He's going to be saving himself at his own base. Taurens coming in here, trying to do some damage to the tanks. Wyverns really getting so heavily punished by those tanks. Those tanks are basically going to push away those Wyverns. Blizzard even stopping those Wyverns from getting even reasonably close whatsoever. The Blademaster might go down here for Fetarook. He's actually having to teleport away. And is he going to be able to get himself into a good position here? He's really struggling versus this human army. This human army is very, very powerful. It's a good mix. The siege engines just heavily counter those Wind Riders. They can't get close whatsoever. Has he actually got enough mana to even heal? No, he doesn't. He's in such a bad spot. Blizzard, Tauren Chieftain going down, just picking off units left, right and centre. It looks like You Just Got Shaved has pretty much held his own here. Meanwhile, at the top right here, Rageaholic has managed to actually get everything back under control, and he's now spending that cash and getting up into the max food upkeep. So we can see You Just Got Shaved has got himself a level 5 Archmage, almost level 6, very, very important indeed. And he's going to push further, try to take down this Shadowhunter who hasn't got enough mana to keep himself alive. Oh, he did survive the Stormbot, I assume, because Amulet Spell Shield just went off. But the Blizzard is securely killing a lot of these Taurens, or at least doing so much damage. Blademaster can't even escape in this situation. This is a bad place to be right now for Fetarook. Oh, he had such a good little fight versus You Just Got Shaved early on in the game, but all the future little battles that they've been having have gone a lot better for You Just Got Shaved, and now Archmage is at level 6, which is a huge deal. Fetarook pretty much out of the game at this point with 12 food and nothing else going well for him whatsoever. You Just Got Shaved, 5,000 gold, fairly solid. Managed to get this expansion back up in the middle. Fetarook has got an expansion in the middle as well, but I dare say that's not going to last very long. Rageaholic now looking for a fight. But is it going to be versus his arch nemesis? No, he's moving in against You Just Got Shaved, which is probably very good for him, because you don't want You Just Got Shaved taking too much of an advantage at this point, since he's about to take care of his nearest opponent. So it's so important that you keep so if one of them's killing the other one that's nearest them, you kind of want to punish them for that. And that's exactly what Rageaholic's doing right now. He's like, yep, you're not going to have this expansion now. He doesn't necessarily know this, but he knows to some degree, I bet, what he's doing. So I hope so, otherwise it's just pure luck at this point. So Furtado has built up quite the army indeed. 96 out of 100 food. We've got Taurens, we've got Shaman, Witch Doctors, level 4 Tauren Chieftain, soon to be level 5, level 3.5 Shadowhunter, lots and lots of Bat Riders. I suppose that's the correct amount of Bat Riders if he was going to be having another battle with Rageaholic by the looks of it. Should be able to take care of that air army, no doubt. But Rageaholic, how's he doing with his units, these heroes? Level 5 in the Blademaster is very important. Level 1 on the Tauren Chieftain, quite lackluster. Invisible Sorceress allows for a mass teleport from the Archmage to get in here and do some massive damage to Feather Oak's outpost, his last reserve, his base, trying to get his Blade Master back. Siege engines are so gosh darn powerful, aren't they, really? Let's face it, they are quite incredible. Rageaholic coming in here, looking for a spot to pick off some Priest Orcs. He's rolling in here. Wyverns are only going to last so long versus Blizzard and Siege Engine, so he needs to scroll the speed out of there, save them, do what he can, pick stuff off left, right and centre, but it does look like You Just Got Shaved shouldn't really be in a place where he can actually deal with Rageaholic, providing he can keep his air units back. He's throwing in the Bat Riders, trying to take care of the Griffins, and then all he's got left to deal with are the powerful heroes and the Siege Engine. He's rolling in with this Tauren. Everything's slowed up here, so if you had a way to get rid of the slow, that'd be very nice for him, because that's slowing down the potential pulverizers. Oh my god, Hex going off there on the Archmage. Blade Master trying to get in a position to bring down the Archmage rather. Can the Paladin keep him alive? Yes, he can. The Holy Lights are really stopping the Blade Master getting now. Storm bolted, healing wave going off for the Blade Master. Is now Blade Master versus Archmage. Both guys taking potions, trying to stay alive. Blade Master now suffering the Staff of Silence, and You Just Got Shaved. He's deciding to get out of this situation, which is the right thing to do. He held his own there. Very good little battle there between the heroes there, but he lost a lot of units in the process because Rageaholic had the right units to deal with this. Furtado sitting very strong on the right hand side, patient, looking for an opportunity, and the opportunity might be nigh because he's about to do some huge damage right now. So Rageaholic, he got some experience from that. Tauren Chieftain is no longer level 1, he's now 2.5. Shadowhunter's doing a little bit better for him, but he's also lost those units, and he's going to have to dip into his cash supply to get himself up to that 100 food, because he's going to want to have to deal with Furtado's army, which is 100 out of 100 right now. Furtado hasn't got all that much gold. Looks like Feather Ook has decided to leave the game. He has been defeated, so You Just Got Shaved has taken his side of the map, and if Rageaholic and Furtado are going to be having their own little ruckus here, it gives You Just Got Shaved a chance to get back into the game with multiple expansions, secure his position once more. Whilst these guys are battling it, there's level 6 Archmage, level 5 Mountain King, and a level 5 Paladin. Oh my goodness, Furtado is just slicing through Rageaholic's buildings, and Rageaholic isn't ready to respond to this. Now he's coming in here. He's got the Spirit Log spreading out there amongst his Taurens. It looks like bats are going to hell and all other enemy units here. This is getting crazy, but the Taurens are ready to have a little fight. There's lots of Taurens for Furtado as well, and he's got his castles on the underside. We've got all sorts going down here. Oh, we're seeing the Book of the Dead being used, but Warstomp taking down some of their health. Furtado just pushing in really strong here. His Blade Master is going crazy right now. So much damage going off here. The Rageaholic is about to lose his Shadow Hunter any second now. Down it goes. Rageaholic in a really bad spot here. He's being totally outnumbered here. Despite trying to get all of his food upkeep sorted, it doesn't look like he's in a position where he can do too much about it. Rageaholic trying to take out the casters in the back here. Blade Master's going to town with the Bloodlust. No dispels going off here. We're seeing all sorts of freaking healing wards and stasis traps for Furtado, trying to keep Rageaholic under control, and it looks like he's about to do it. Only that Blade Master left by the looks of it. Can he pick it off in time? Oh, one crit. Oh, the Tauren just batters him around the head. Looks like Furtado has taken his role as the Orc Chieftain, because he's the last Orc left now, as Rageaholic has left the game. Very good time in there for Furtado, because You Just Got Shaved finished his nearest opponent. So that means that if you've got a nearest opponent, you're going to want to get rid of him, because the longer he stays alive, the harder it's going to be, and the easier it's going to be for the guy that's got very few threats. So now we've got a one-on-one situation, human versus orc. I don't believe there's any Inferno Stones left either. That's a real shame. I wanted to see an Inferno Stone in the last final fight, but heck, I don't think that's going to happen. So the level 6 Archmage is going to be a pain to deal with the mass teleport, the Griffins, the Siege Engines. It's a good way to try to stop your opponent from branching out and taking further expansions, trying to get himself that cash to survive versus the inevitable battles to come. So if You Just Got Shaved can take his expansions, secure them, meanwhile try to find places to mass teleport to, so he's using his invisible sorks, scouting out for the chance. Oh, really nice job there by Furtado. Very nice. He's put sentry wards in his own base so he can spot any invisible units trying to get in there. So that's a little giveaway. He now is more prepared than ever before to deal with mass teleport. It's very easy to forget about it or to get distracted and then get hit so hard by it that it can actually take the game away from you. Furtado is really going to want to work on getting expansions though. And I'd say he's in a better position to try to take expansions and hold them. Even though You Just Got Shaved has the mass teleport, Furtado does have the Blade Master. And the Blade Master can do massive damage to exposed human expansions. I mean, if that Blade Master hits level 6 and gets himself Blade Storm, which he's about to do, to be quite frank, that is huge versus a human army. A particular human free-for-all army. Oh, he is not happy with Furtado trying to take any expansions. I told Furtado to take an expansion, and now I feel bad about it because look what's happened. Yeah, You Just Got Shaved doing a good job. Both players had the potential to try to keep each other under control when it comes to trying to take expansions. Like I say, Furtado still has the Blade Master. He can harass. He doesn't know that You Just Got Shaved doesn't have towers, but You Just Got Shaved doesn't have towers. He's got a lot of resources he can plow in to try to keep these bases alive and make it very difficult for a Blade Master to harass. But he's keeping the Blade Master alongside his army a lot of the time, probably because he's getting ready for a big battle. And the Blade Master is all over the shop. Cloud going off here. Very effective indeed. Nullifying many a watchtower. And it looks like You Just Got Shaved is just ready, waiting for his opponent to teleport in here. He's got to get himself into position. Inner fire going off all over the place. Oh, the bats going off on those griffins. But it does look like a lot of those griffins survived. Those bats didn't get to do anywhere near as much damage. Blizzard doing a huge amount of damage here. Shadow Hunter, is he in trouble? No, he's still alive. Furtado has hit level 6 with the Blade Master. If he can get himself in a good position, he can do Windwalk. It looks kind of nasty for both players right now. But Archmage being... Oh, now he's got away. Staff of Sanctuary keeps him alive. Is there a town portal left for You Just Got Shaved? No. Fantastic battle there for Furtado. I honestly thought that that was actually very good for You Just Got Shaved because of the positioning that Furtado teleported into and was taking a lot of damage from Blizzard, but he was staying alive just long enough. If that Blizzard got away with doing a few more ticks, that could have gone very differently, but Furtado held his own, kept himself alive, focused the right things, put pressure on the right heroes, the Archmage, so denying more of those blizzards, and allowing him to push back. You Just Got Shaved, so Furtado's looking stronger than ever right now. Level 6 Blade Master, level 5 Shadow Hunter, almost level 6, and a level 6 Tauren Chieftain. Oh, that's a scary thing indeed. Taurens, Shamans, Kodos, Witch Doctors, it is nasty to deal with. However, his cash is really low, and you can hear him selling stuff left, right, and centre. So he's got to get an expansion, and he's got to secure it, because You Just Got Shaved still has a lot of gold, still has a lot of wood, still will get that Archmage back, because he's going to get it back. In fact, he's kept it, rather. He didn't die, but he definitely lost something. He lost the Paladin, which is why the Archmage was in so much trouble as well. But Furtado needs to get an expansion, secure it, because he will just simply get outmassed. No matter how powerful his heroes get, he will get outmassed. And you have to bear in mind that he sold a whole ton of his items, which means that his heroes are going to be less powerful in these big battles where it really matters. The more of those items you can hold on to, the more important it is. And his Blade Master just taken a lot of damage there from the Arcane Tower, so not much mana for the Blade Master. That's no Blade Storm. Maybe he hasn't even gone for Blade Storm. Maybe he's gone level 3 Windwalk and level 3 Crit. I would have liked to have seen Blade Storm, because I think that would be a big deal versus a human army with siege engines and casters and such. I think you could get a lot out of that. He's not quite sure how to engage this. I'd say he's better off. Oh no, You Just Got Shaved. That almost sounds like a thing to say before you kill someone, and this is pretty much what's going to happen. Is Furtado can't really afford to have a base race here, because You Just Got Shaved can easily outmass him. He can't really afford to have much of a fight either. He's in a really horrible position, to be honest with you. He needs to take care of the main base, or really where the units are being produced from, because You Just Got Shaved has got a whole ton of resources. But he's dealing with a huge army, very powerful, inner fired, everything up. All the heroes are very powerful indeed. And Furtado has spotted this expansion finally, but I think he needed to get on that a lot earlier. It's so easy for me to say this as a commentator, as someone that has vision of the entire map. But my goodness, he really needed to get on those expansions about 5 to 6 minutes ago at least, when I was talking about it, sending the Blade Master up there, just doing something. Scouting with the Blade Master. He kept his Blade Master by his army too much, I think. If he was going to be worried about having a battle any second and needing his Blade Master nearby, he could have at least invested 150 gold into a Staff of Teleportation for the Blade Master so he could at least get back into the fight. But then again, he'd have Wind Walk anyway, it'd be pretty damn quick. Yeah, You Just Got Shaved to say you should have scouted. I agree with him completely and utterly. No bias whatsoever, but my goodness. Scouting is one of the most important things in a free-for-all game. And you could see how much of a difference it would make for Furtado, because right now he's got 155 gold, and even if he had a battle versus You Just Got Shaved and overwhelmingly won it, lost say 30 food, and You Just Got Shaved lost 60 to 70 food, You Just Got Shaved would still rebuild his entire army and everything and probably get his heroes back from the tavern and still be able to fight once more. Furtado doesn't have that luxury. In fact, he's so desperate right now, we can see he's putting a Great Hall on the lower ground here just so he can take the expansion at the top, since it seems like one of the safest ones. And I agree, that is probably one of the safest expansions to take. But has he got much left going for him? He has this Great Hall, which is going to deny his opponent from seeing where he is. But You Just Got Shaved has the advantage of invisible units, so he could summon water elementals. If the Archmage can get level 8, he could. But at the very least, he could still use it on militia, peasants, sorks, just spread them around the map to the various gold mines, just looking for any more expansions, and had the power to mass teleport and just keep your opponent under complete control. Furtado doing the right thing now, going into a final battle, because he's going to have to deal with You Just Got Shaved sooner or later. He has actually got rid of his expansions, so he could sit tight and hope that his expansion at the top goes somewhere, but no. He's moving in here with his Blade Master. Very hard focus there on the Paladin. Paladin using Defiant Shield. It's going to buy him some time. Archmage now throwing down some Blizzard. Looks like these Griffins and these Sorks are in a great position. Blade Master could be throwing down the Bladestorm right now. Instead, he's taking a lot of damage. Is there going to be a healing wave for him? There is a Staff of... No, my goodness, that's so horrible. I believe Staff of Silence got used in the Shadow Hunter, so he couldn't do a healing wave until it's pretty much too late. Furtado losing both his Shadow Hunter and his Blade Master right now. Tauren Chieftain still going strong, but not anymore. Reincarnation, come back to me. Is it going to be enough? No. But hey ho. Well done by You Just Got Shaved, showing the power of human once more. Human dominating this so far, in my experience. 1 human, 3 orcs. Guess who wins? But, to be fair, You Just Got Shaved played that correctly. Furtado played very well as well, but he didn't scout enough, and that cost him the game. He could have been victorious if he scouted just a little bit more. But, fantastic play by everyone, and a very entertaining game nonetheless.